School is the most important thing in your life. And while I hate school, I got a PhD. And I hate school. I hate everything about it. So somebody say, E, if you hate school so much, why you get a PhD? Because I hate school, but I love options. You can have average skill, but you can't have average will. You can't have average will. Like your will has to be phenomenal. You have to see basketball as the gateway. It's like a passport. Basketball is just your way to get in, and then once you get in, boom, then you dominate. So I'm telling you, you're not taking a test because they're giving you the test. You're taking a test that's about to change your life, your mama's life. And I know if you take the test serious, you'll kill it. When you go through your go-through, your siblings are watching you. When you go through your go-through, your friends are watching you. When you go through your go-through, your parents are watching you. And people will use your strength to get through their stuff.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy ETA. Welcome to another edition of Free Summer School. That's right, I said free summer school. Knowledge is the new money. Get you some. All right, don't let nobody fool you. School is not important. Hey, I'm not going to use math. Why am I doing this type of math? I'm never going to use. You don't know what you're going to use. Don't say that. Oh, I don't need to read. I don't need to use those big words. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're going to do. Stop saying that. Right? Stop saying that. Stop saying I don't need this. I don't need that. You don't know what you need. You 10 years old. You 12 years old. You 14 years old. You 16 years old. You 18 years old. You 20. You don't know what you're going to need in your 30s. You don't know what you need in your 40s. You don't know what you're going to need in your 50s. You don't know. You don't stop saying that. I'm not going to need it. Knowledge is the new money. Get you some. Like I ain't say get substance. Knowledge. I ain't say get you no relationship money. I didn't say, I said knowledge. Car, stuff, houses, clothes. No, knowledge. Because here's the deal. You can get stuff, but if you don't have knowledge, you can lose the stuff. I'm just being real. You can by accident come across some stuff, but when you got knowledge, you can control your own destiny. Knowledge is the new money. Listen to me very closely. I want to make sure you're clear on this one. Somebody could take everything I own today, like Job. You can just take everything. Guess what? Now, I'm going to be pissed, hurt because I worked for it, but I'm not going to be as like struggling like some people. Depression, despondent. Why? Because I built this thing with knowledge. I built it. I know step 1. I know step 2. I know step 3. I know step 4. I built it. I built this. So if you take school serious, if you take you serious, if you take your life serious, your dream, your goals serious, listen to me very closely, then you're going to take knowledge serious. Because if you take knowledge and wisdom serious, it will open up every door for you. It will show you how to do everything. It will help you not only to get, but to keep. All right, so on yesterday, we talked about consequences, and I want to keep going. Let me get that quote noise, all right? Y'all get that. All right, so watch this. Look at the screen. Here it is. Here it is. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Here it is. You are free to choose. You are free to choose. All right? You're free to choose, but you're not free from the consequences of that choice. So here's what I want you to know. You are free, right, to bring somebody in the house when your mama told you don't bring nobody in the house. You're free to do it. She going to work. You free when she told you to get up and do your schoolwork. You free. You free to get up and play video games all day. You free. If she told you to keep the house clean, you free from not keeping it. You ain't got to keep the house clean. You free. Like she told you, don't eat that, don't do that, don't go outside during this time, don't hang out with them, don't go on that side. You free. You free to be. You free to do whatever you want to do, but you are not free of the consequences. I just need you to understand that. You free. You free to lie and say, I'm going here and go somewhere else. You free. You free to sneak the car out the crib when your parents going out of town. You free. You free to date people they told you not to date. You free. You free to smoke, drink. You free to do some of the things they told you to do. You free. Ain't nobody, can't nobody see you. You by yourself. Can't nobody see what you doing. You on a solo. You by yourself. You with your little homies. You done forgot what your mama said, your daddy said, what your granny said, your grandfather. You forgot your guardian. You forgot what your coach said. You free. You ain't got to lift no weights. But let me tell you something. When it's game time and you ain't got no strength, don't complain. You don't have to do the cardio he told you to do. But by second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, you burnt out with your talented self, but you don't have no energy. You don't have no strength. You don't have to do what people tell you to do. People who love you, people who got your back, people who trying to tell you what's right. You don't have to listen. Grown. You can do what you want to do when you want to do it. You ain't got to go to bed when you say it. You ain't got to cut your phone off. You ain't got to not, be sexting. You thought text. I know what I said. You ain't got. You can do what you want. You can go live. You can have people all in your house. You can your parents told you not to. You can be entertaining people online and they told you not to. You're free to do whatever you want to do, but you're not free of the consequences. It's gonna be some consequences that's gonna come with that. All right, one more quote. Give me the sound. Give me the sound. I got one more quote for y'all. We ain't finished. I got one more. Look at the screen, my baby. Look at the screen. There's always consequences to your actions. Here's what I need you to do for me. Here's the action step. Before you act, make sure you're prepared for them. That's all I'm saying. Listen to me. Make sure you think this thing through. Make sure you better watch yourself. You'll fall and hurt yourself one day. Come on. You better watch yourself. You'll fall and hurt yourself one day. I know because I lied. I know because I did stuff. I know because I went where I wasn't supposed to. I know I hung out with people I know personally. Said one thing, listen to me. I said one thing with my mouth, but my actions. So it's your boy E.T. saying, look, hey, go on with your bad self. Go on with your bad self. Make whatever decisions you want to make. But don't cry. Don't whine when it's time for the consequence. Prepare yourself for them. Prepare. Get ready for them. Don't run from it. I used to run from punishment. I used to run from correction. I used to run from that butt whipping. What you running from? You brought this on yourself. What you running from? You made these choices. What you running from? Why you mad? You being held accountable. What you running from? It's your boy E.T. Remember, it's your decisions, but it's also equally your consequences. So prepare yourself for whatever consequences you know coming because of the decisions you made. So you could get with this or you could get with that. If I were you, I would get with this because this is where it's at. It's your boy E.T. Remember, small steps, great distances. Now you know. Let's go.
Welcome to Free Summer School. Knowledge is the new money. Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher.
I'm sorry. Every time you say free,
it's free. Oh, listen, it's free. It is free. And
you know what? Some hot dogs I didn't like because they was free. It was I was like, who cares? It's free. Give it to me.
No, listen, today we are talking about the long-term effect of choices. The long-term effect of choices. We've all made choices in our life up into this point right here. Like this has been a decision, right? You had to make a step to be right here today. So take it away. Long-term effect.
Now let me tell you something. Y'all know I love me some the Lord. I love Jesus. When I get to heaven, I'm gonna have to ask God, why did we have to make the most crucial and critical decisions at the dumbest part of our lives? Like how did that even happen? Like what was that all about? Why did I have to make decisions at 18, 19 when I didn't even know what decision making was? You know what I'm saying? And like now it's some stuff I look back at like, did I do that? But I wasn't even as equipped as I am now. Like, why couldn't I know what I know now and have to make those decisions then? And so just being real, that's the first thing I thought about. Why? Because there are some things that I ain't feeling no more. You feel me? I won't use the word regret. That might be a little too deep, but it's like, if I had a choice, I wouldn't have done that dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't have put my mother through that. I wouldn't have disrespected my father, who raised me. Wasn't my biological father, but he raised. It's just some dumb stuff that I did. I wouldn't have dropped out of school. Just dumb stuff. And I guess what we're trying to do in this podcast is stop you from doing that dumb, some of the dumb. You're going to do some dumb stuff, but maybe not as much dumb stuff, or maybe not the dumb stuff that will alter your life. You know what I'm saying? That will change your life, So I want y'all to listen to everything that's about to be said. And again, I always say this, I have to say it right. I'm amongst scholars, so now and laters. That's not how I say it, but you know what I'm saying? The candy is called now and later. I grew up, it's noun. You know what I'm saying? Like N-O-U-N, now and laters. Listen to me. There are some decisions that you need to make now. There's some decisions you need to make later. We're going to talk to you right now. Please listen to us. And trust us. Don't say, well, I want to go through it so I can experience it myself. Listen to me. Time heals all wounds, not all scars. All right. So I have some wounds that you're not going to see, but you see the scars though. They still exist. And the cocoa butter can't get rid of them. All right. So understand that one of the most important things in your life is not how much money you make, right? It's not who you date. It's not where you live. Understand that actually a good decision maker is going to fix all of that stuff. So if you know how to make good decisions, all the other stuff is easy. What took me so long to get to where I am is maturing as a decision maker.
Powerful. Let's start with Candace. Candace, let's talk about the long-term effect.
Well, Candace supposed to be at the she batting the ear. She hitting the homers. You
I was trying to switch it up. They've been watching every day.
No. We good. I think this is good. So when I thought about this question, I got this advice freshman year of high school. Just a random elective class, the teacher, older guy, newsletter. It wasn't even like a deep class. This was like the newsletter class. And he just set it down and made it plain for us. And he said, what you do the first 4 years after you get out of college will determine how you spend the rest of your life.
Wow.
I'm going to say that again. What you do the first 4 years after you get out of high school. I might have said college before. I meant high school. How do you get out of high school will determine how you live the rest of your life.
My.
So now if you take that and say, okay, if what I do the first 4 years after high school determines the rest of my life, then that means what I'm doing now in high school is important as well, right? Because that's going to determine what's going to happen those first 4 years. That's going to determine what's going to happen for the rest of my life. And I would just also say this is when I was kind of thinking about it and dissecting it, and as E was talking, is that our decisions as you get older, they have more of a ripple effect, or a multiplication effect.
Yeah.
So when you're young, your decision is like, okay, this is only affecting this one moment or this 1 month, or it's kind of over quickly. But as you get older, your decisions have a longer impact on what's going to happen, if that makes sense. So that's why right now it's important for us to start building those skills, as we talked about in the last podcast on responsible decision making, because it's the stakes will start to become higher. So that's what I think. I just want to lay the foundation of the importance of making stronger decisions as you become older and as you mature, because they're going to have a more significant impact on your life. And I know for me, when I got that advice as a freshman in high school, still trying to figure out which way I wanted to go, I grew up in the city of Detroit, a lot of different options and different pathways that I could have taken, and I was like, you know what, my goal is to change the generational curse or generational cycle for my family, my siblings, my children, my future. So I'm going to have to make some decisions right now that I know are going to impact the rest of my life. And it played out just as how it was planned. I start taking high school a little bit more serious. Then I started, went to college, and then the rest is history. But yeah, that advice that I got my freshman year was phenomenal. And I just want to let you guys know, like, yes, make mistakes, bounce back, but no, as you get older, it's going to have a bigger impact as you go on.
Fatai, let's talk long-term effect of choices that we make.
I promise you guys are taking me down memory lane, with everything that everybody's talking about, because when I think about long-term effects, I'm always thinking about like when my father took us out from the neighborhood and put us in this rich white school, and it was crazy because he made the decision to go make friends with some of these rich people so that we can use their home address, so that we can be able to use their home address that's zoned for the school. Okay. You know what I mean? And so it's like when I think about that, but when I think about my experience now, because that was that was his decision. That was his responsible decision because he wanted us to be exposed in this environment. But I clearly remember I was a depressed freshman. I absolutely hated it because I was surrounded in this school where it was obvious I was the minority, so coming from a rich cultural school, now going into being like the single one out, it was hard, but I had a choice to make. either my choice was either try to make these experiences good or continue to wallow in, whatever your sadness and what it was. So unfortunately, I wallowed in it. I wallowed in it. And by the time I was a senior, that's when I really started to realize, oh my goodness, I just wasted my high school years, didn't make no friends. My only friend was my only best friend was my sister. But my sister made that decision when she was a sophomore because she experienced it her freshman year. When she made the decision to make it the best experience for her, she said, sis, I woke up every day and said, this is going to be good. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to make some amazing friends. This is going to be good. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to talk to that teacher. If I don't get it, I'm going to ask questions. This day is going to be good. So she had those affirmations that she kept telling herself every day. She became like she was involved in drama, at school. And like she was a sought out for actor. She's in the alumni building, and to know that her picture's in there, I'm like, that could have been, you know what I mean? Like to see her go through this experience and make friends with people that I thought that we couldn't make friends with. She beat the odds because she made the choice. She made the choice to have a good experience, and it's like, every time I think about that, I always think about my kids, even kindergartners, like where they're at in their experience, like what kind of choices are we making? We can make choices, either the good choice or the bad choice, but what kind of effect, what kind of influence? I'm trying to think of a more layman's term for the kids, like what kind of lifestyle is it that you're going to have, if you're going to continue to make good choices versus those bad ones? It might land you, with my situation with my husband, we made a choice to go to a conference in 2016. And I get to be here in this environment with you guys. But if we didn't make that choice to go to that conference to save our marriage, we probably would have been divorced. You know what I mean? So it's being able to know how it's going to affect you, your sisters, your family, everybody else in the long run.
Wow.
Ooh, this next conference got to be fired, Tiff.
Listen.
Right.
Fired, Tiff.
Like,
Don't play no games, Tiff.
No pressure, no pressure, but people's lives is
Yeah,
changing.
you know what I'm saying? People's lives in the balance. They can't be playing games.
Oh man, no
Hey,
pressure.
you
Yeah.
know what I want to hop in right here, talk about long-term effects of your choices, right? There's a couple of decisions that I think a lot of people are looking at right now. Your students, your parents or your guardians are making a lot of decisions for you, and you're like, well, I don't have a lot of like power in my life. I can't wait until I'm grown. I remember that. I remember that. So what I will say is that the decisions I made, it was two decisions, and we talked about it before, like my friend group, right? Like I have friends around my neighborhood who were like going down the wrong path. And I'll say I had one friend, a couple of different friends, but one friend that really changed my life. And E, my boy Lamont. And me and Lamont, we went to high school together, and we got really tight in 12th grade. And Lamont was one of these guys. We went to the same college. Like, all right, we just going to, my mom and dad didn't have a lot of money for me to go away to college. And I was praying I didn't get into this school, but I got into the school. I was like, oh man, I gotta go to Temple, right? So it was our neighborhood school, and we went, and Lamont was right there with me, right? And Lamont, he didn't know what he wanted to do in college, but by us being friends, I'm like, well, dude, I'm getting in the radio. I snuck backstage, I got in the radio, and I'm doing my thing. And Lamont went to some school fair, right? And he went to a school fair, and then at that fair, he found his job, his career, and the career was he was a financial advisor, right? So Lamont being a financial advisor, once we get out of school, he's like, dude, you need life insurance, right? All right, so I got life insurance, but him telling me I needed life insurance, I made sure everyone in my family got life insurance. Wasn't a lot of money, right? Lamont says, hey, you need a trust. I'm like, what's a trust? You need a trust, right? You need a living will. These are certain things he told me about. I'm just doing it because Lamont's my friend, right? And off of him being my friend, it was certain things that protected my family. It's certain things that protected not only my inner family, protected my cousins, my other people. That's the decision I made. He was a good guy. We stayed friends. Right? So his great decisions benefited my family. right? So you got to remember, it's certain things that you may not know about, but if you're around the right people, the long-term effects of me being his friend is certain things that just came to me, and vice versa. If he was on here, he'll tell you, well, Q helped me out with X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
The second thing I would say, when I was in 9th grade, I wasn't really gung-ho about college. I just did enough just to, you know what I'm saying? Like 78 average, 79. Like, you know, if the coffee or if the beverage was warm, like mine was like a little mild. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't go all the way in.
Yeah.
Right. But I did just enough to be not a C student, but like, you know, C plus, B minus. So when I was like in 11th grade and start going to like college tours, I'm like, oh, I want to do this. Right. And then I didn't have to do all of the work because I did enough. Yeah. So what we're saying to you is now, like, make sure you may be 13, but the things you're doing at 13, your 13-year-old self, your 18-year-old self will thank your 13-year-old self.
Absolutely. Oh, thank
your
you.
18-year-old self, your 21-year-old self will thank your 18-year-old self. The things you're doing now are preparing you for the future. It's certain things. I look at my friends, you know, instead of going to college, they got a car and an apartment. They're struggling in their life because they didn't do those certain things. Back to Candace's point about the 4 years after high school. So it's just those certain things, those two decisions. You're like, I don't have a lot of decisions. Well, school, you don't have a decision.
I mean, you got some.
You can do good in school and be around good people.
Absolutely.
That part.
You know? Let's go to Tiffany Haynes. Did we go to Tiffany Haynes?
No, we didn't. I'm gonna tell a quick story about my dad. Okay, it's like there's daddy's girl, and then there's what I am, which has got to be about 10 steps ahead of that. Okay, so
call Jada for me, please.
Okay, I am like my daddy is like my right ventricle on this side. So, but a story I will say about him is in Charles knows him. His character is like impeccable, like just. Character is flawless, and it has been my whole life. And I remember so you guys may not know him, but I'll tell you who he reminds me of. He's high air traffic control and flight attendant, which is the same as Mustafa.
Yeah.
Okay. Which means he's a perfectionist, but he's very personable at the same time. Right. So he was military. So he did 22 years in the military. And he retired, and he was trying to find his way after retirement, still wanting to work, still trying to find jobs in the private sector. And he got a phone call, and a gentleman that said, I've been looking for you. You worked for me 10 years ago, and I've had over 100 soldiers that I've worked with, and you stood out to me when I got a multi-million-dollar contract from the government approved to have a machine that would scan soldiers' brains before they went to war and after they came back from war to see if they had PTSD, so that they weren't redeployed to further put damage on their mental capacity. A very powerful machine. And he said, I need a right hand as I take this on and bring it to fruition. And I remembered you from 10 years ago. So out of every soldier that he's ever worked with, my dad stood out to him because the choices he made in the military took him from where he was navigating his way after retirement to giving him a 6-figure salary that he's maintained since having that opportunity. So he's just the epitome of when your character shines, it controls your choices, which creates lifetimes of opportunities because you are unforgettable. You are unforgettable. If Moose left us today, he's unforgettable. You know what I mean? So because of his character alone, you know, so
can we name some that are unforgettable?
We don't have a budget for this podcast.
I'm sorry, I digress. I'm sorry.
All right.
That's right. But yes, though that is just the strongest example I could think of for long-term effects of your choices. Just your character alone, if you worked on that, it's going to control a lifetime of opportunities for you.
Love it. I love it.
CTJ.
So
to his brother.
We're talking about long-term effects. So if you remember, every day you get up, whether you're doing the smallest things from brushing your teeth, whatever you're doing, you're making decisions all day long. And so the decisions that you're making will eventually become the product of the life you're going to live. So for example, if you don't do certain things every day, eventually you won't ever do those things every day. So it becomes a problem later on down the road, right? Something simple as brushing your teeth. You don't brush your teeth later on in life, you ain't gonna have no teeth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Or
it's
you're gonna be like
simple
me. You gotta go to the dentist every 3-4 months.
You know what I'm saying? You got breathe over. It's a lot of stuff going on in there, right?
Yeah.
So it's the simple thing. It's decisions. It's simple decisions every day. So everything you do, what you eat, where you go, who you hang around with, everything is a decision. So you have the option: either you play it safe, you know what I'm saying, don't really make, you know, any hard choices, or you take a chance and make those choices and do what's right. And you may mess around and turn out to be like Fatah said. They made a simple choice to go to a conference. That's not a life-changing decision. Going to a conference. I mean, nowadays that's pretty regular. Now you can get on social media and you click the little button and sign up for the free whatever. That's normal now. But it's the fact that you executed and made the decision that could simply make that one. You can hear that one thing. Watching this right here, you can hear one thing that can literally make a decision and redirect you for the rest of your life. So pay attention, make decisions. Don't be afraid. Go against the grain and make things happen.
Talk to us, brother.
Small steps, great. Now you know. Let's go.